two countries which seemingly have nothing in common. Chad is a landlocked Saharan nation and is one of the least well-off nations on earth, with tons of war, poverty, corruption, and violence. Romania is much better off, although many Europeans would like to say otherwise. It is a forested nation in Eastern Europe with the Carpathian Mountains splitting in half. Part of the EU, Romania is definitely still developing, even though it is much ahead of Chad. Yet these two seemingly random nations have one big thing in common. They have the exact same flag. So what happened? Why do these two nations share the exact same unifier of red, yellow, and blue? Let's start off with Romania. The very oversimplified history of Romania is this. Ancient Romanian lands were under what was called the Dacian Kingdom, which was later conquered by the Romans and Latinized. Later, many different groups invaded, like the Huns, the Bulgars, and Hungarians. Yet throughout, Romanians still existed, and for most of history, Romania was split into three. It consisted of the parts of Wallachia, Moldavia, and Transylvania. One leader of Wallachia, Michael the Brave, had three favorite colors, red, yellow, and blue, which he used to decorate his royal things, even though the Wallachian flag was white with a nice eagle on it. Moldavia, of course, had their own flags and symbols, being a bull's head on a shield. They used all three colors for a background, the red shield with a yellow bull's head, blue in the 1500s, and later some accounts of yellow in the 1700s. And finally, Transylvania was controlled by Hungary for a long time, which then later was acquired by Austria and the Habsburgs. In 1765, Transylvania was established inside of the Habsburg Empire, where Maria Theresa gave this cute little coat of arms to them, consisting of blue, red, and yellow. So then all Romanian lands united and they lived happily ever after, cheering with their united colors, right? Wrong! The Ottomans were hungry for land, and who was right beside them? Our friends on the Danube were. Wallachia was an Ottoman vassal for about 400 years, Moldavia for about 300 years, and Transylvania for about 200 years, and then later under Austrian rule. In 1821, Wallachia was sick of the Ottomans and revolted. When they did, they used the vertical tricolor flag of red, yellow, and blue, standing for liberty, justice, and fraternity. Does that remind you of anything at all? Well, the revolution semi-worked and also semi-failed, and Wallachia and Moldavia were in a very complicated situation, kind of independent, kind of Ottoman, and kind of Russian. Luckily, 30 years later, in 1848, both Wallachia and Moldavia had another revolution. They used the red, yellow, and blue flag once again. Some had justice, fraternity written on them, and already much before their time, students were hanging the vertical red, yellow, and blue flag in Paris and declaring the new government. After the revolution and Crimean War, Romanian nationalism was all the rage, and in 1859, Wallachia and Moldavia united into the United Principalities, using this horizontal tricolor as their flag. Then, 7 years later, a new constitution was written for the nation of Romania, and a new constitution, new nation, means a new flag, so it is adopted that the new flag of Romania was a vertical tricolor, the one we know and love today. The flag stayed when Transylvania was incorporated after World War I. After World War II, Romania had a communist phase where they stamped this coat of arms on, and after another revolution where the coat of arms was cut out, the Romanian flag went back to normal in 1989 and has stayed the same ever since. Okay, long complex history. Thankfully, Chad's flag history is a lot shorter. It starts around Lake Chad, where eventually the Canaan people decide to make an empire using this flag, later transitioning into the Borno Empire, which uses this flag. None of these flags matter though, because Europe had started to get a taste for African soil. It was time for Africa to be scrambled. Europe went into Africa, drew random borders, and claimed those lands for themselves. Bye bye Bornus. The French had decided to take huge chunks of land in northwest Africa, so they went and fought the natives, and surprise, they won and only had a major technological, military, and economic advantage. France declared the colony of French Chad and French Equatorial Africa using their own flag. Then after World War II and being conquered by the Germans themselves, the French realized that maybe conquering and ruling other people isn't actually that cool or chill. And in 1958, Chad voted to become an independent nation, becoming free in 1960. Now this new nation Chad, which was born out of drawing straight lines on a map, had very little in common with the rest of itself. So how do you make a flag for it? Well, they took the French Chad flag, aka France's, and the Pan-African colors of green, yellow, and red, and combined them to form the blue, yellow, and red flag today. The colors also represent the sky, desert, and bloodshed for independence, and at the time, Romania was in their communist phase, so Chad's flag wasn't being used.
Now you told us.
It's a miracle.
Why is there another 4.5 minutes? Fuck.
If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and a comment of what you want to see next.